Attention passionate Montreal Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news. Alright folks, today we're diving deep into some really exciting and potentially transformative news for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, I know the Canadiens have been through a bit of a roller coaster recently, but this latest development could be a game changer, not just for the team, but for the entire Atlantic Division. And believe me, fans, this is the kind of story that keeps us glued to our screens and our hearts racing. The rumor mill is heating up around a major NHL trade involving none other than Pavel Zacha, the talented forward from the New Jersey Devils. And if this deal goes through, it could seriously shake up the landscape of the league and more specifically, the Canadiens' quest for that elusive Stanley Cup. Now, for those of you who might not be fully up to speed with Pavel Zacha, he's a player who's been steadily making a name for himself in the NHL. Zacha, a 6'3" versatile forward, has shown flashes of brilliance on the ice. He's known for his strong skating, his ability to create scoring chances, and his versatility to play both center and wing. Coming from the Czech Republic, Zacha was drafted 6th overall in 2015 by the New Jersey Devils, and since then he's been seen as a player with a lot of untapped potential. Over the past few seasons, he's been developing into a crucial piece for the Devils, especially with his offensive contributions and his ability to drive play in the offensive zone. But here's where it gets interesting. The Montreal Canadiens, under the leadership of their general manager, Kent Hughes, have been actively looking to bolster their roster. The team's recent performances have shown flashes of potential, but they've also revealed some gaps, especially in their depth on the forward lines and their scoring punch. The Canadiens have been patient, building from within, nurturing young talents like Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slavkovsky, and others, but they know that to truly contend in the playoffs, they need to make bold moves. And that's where Pavel Zacha comes into the picture. The Canadiens see him as a perfect fit, an adaptable, skilled forward who can bring a new dimension to their attack. The trade proposal, as it's being discussed in the circles of NHL insiders, suggests that Montreal is willing to offer a package that might include prospects, draft picks, or even some current roster players to tempt the Devils. The Devils, on the other hand, are in a bit of a tricky position. They're rebuilding and want to add young assets, but losing Zacha would mean giving up a key piece of their current core. Still, teams often have to make tough decisions, especially when they're looking to accelerate their rebuild or add veteran leadership to a young squad. What makes this potential trade so intriguing is how it could influence the dynamics of the Atlantic Division. The Canadiens, historically known for their storied success and playoff presence, are now aiming to rise again, and acquiring a player like Zacha could be a significant step in that direction. His presence on the ice could help Montreal generate more offense, improve their power play, and add depth to their lines. For fans, it's exciting to think about how Zacha's skill set might mesh with the existing roster, especially with young stars like Caulfield and Slavkovsky, who thrive when given the right support and offensive opportunities. Now, it's important to remember that, as of today, nothing has been officially confirmed. The rumors are swirling, and both teams are likely weighing their options carefully. The NHL trade deadline is always a period filled with suspense, strategy, and sometimes surprises. The Canadiens will need to be smart, balancing their desire to strengthen their roster with the realities of cap space, prospect development, and team chemistry. Meanwhile, the Devils are probably trying to evaluate how much they're willing to give up in exchange for a potential upgrade that could help them push further into the playoffs. The fans of the Devils are understandably worried about the possibility of losing Zacha, a player who's been growing into a more complete NHL forward. But every team has to make difficult decisions, and sometimes trading a key player is part of the bigger picture of building a championship contender. For the Devils, it's about finding the right balance, adding assets that can help them now without sacrificing their future prospects. They've got a talented core, including Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier, and they're eager to see how this situation unfolds. From the Canadiens' perspective, this move, if it happens, could be a signal of their intent to be serious playoff contenders sooner rather than later. Montreal has a rich hockey history with 7 Stanley Cup titles, and fans are eager to see their team return to that level of success. The current roster has shown promise, but to truly take the next step, they need to add that extra spark, someone like Zacha, who can be a difference maker in tight games, especially in the postseason. Now, let's talk a bit about the current state of the Canadiens. Despite some ups and downs this season, there's a sense of optimism among the fan base. Young players are developing, and the team's core is gradually maturing. The addition of a player like Zacha could be the missing piece that elevates the team from a rebuilding squad to a legitimate playoff threat. Fans are hungry for success. They want to see their team battling at the top of the standings, making deep runs, and bringing the Stanley Cup back to Montreal where it belongs. In terms of statistics, Zacha has been quite productive this season. He scored around 15 goals with 20 assists in roughly 55 games, which shows his ability to contribute offensively. His versatile role allows coaches to deploy him in various situations, whether on the power play, penalty kill, or even at even strength. His size and skating ability help him win battles along the boards and create space for teammates. Plus, his experience playing in different roles makes him adaptable, something that Montreal's coaching staff would find invaluable. Looking ahead, the Canadiens are also eyeing the big picture, building a team capable of competing for the Stanley Cup in the coming years. They've been strategic with their draft picks, developing prospects, and making smart trades. If this Zacha deal materializes, it's a clear signal that Montreal is committed to accelerating their timeline. And with the playoffs approaching, every move counts. Fans are eager to see how this drama unfolds, whether it's a done deal or just another rumor in the long line of NHL speculation. Of course, the entire league is watching closely. The Devils are in a position where they need to evaluate whether trading Zacha aligns with their long-term goals, while Montreal is trying to seize the moment and make a statement. The potential chemistry between Zacha and young Canadian stars could be explosive, creating opportunities for highlight reel plays, clutch goals, and a more dynamic offensive attack. It's exactly the kind of move that could energize the team and the fan base alike. Let's not forget, the NHL trade deadline is a time of high tension and excitement. Every team is trying to position itself for a playoff run or to set up for the future. The Canadiens, historically known for their resilience and competitive spirit, are no strangers to making bold moves. And if they pull this off, it could be one of those trades that fans look back on as a turning point in their franchise history. Now, I realize that many of you might be wondering about the broader implications. How does this impact the Atlantic Division? Well, if Montreal manages to add a player of Zacha's caliber, it could shake up the standings, push other rivals to respond with their own moves, and elevate the level of competition. It could also shift the power balance, making the Canadiens more formidable in head-to-head matchups. For Devils fans, it's a tough pill to swallow, but they know the NHL is a business, and sometimes parting with a player is necessary for the team's evolution. And as we wait for official confirmation, the excitement continues to build. Rumors will swirl, insiders will give their opinions, and fans will debate endlessly about what this could mean. But one thing is certain, the Montreal Canadiens are in the midst of a strategic push, and acquiring Pavel Zacha could be a bold statement that they're serious about returning to the top. The next few days will be crucial, and I'll be here to keep you updated with all the latest developments. In conclusion, the potential trade involving Pavel Zacha is more than just a transaction, it's a symbol of Montreal's ambitions. It's about building a team that can compete at the highest level, that can bring back the glory days, and that can excite a passionate fan base eager for success. Whether this deal goes through or not, one thing is for sure, the Canadiens are making headlines and the hockey world is watching closely. The coming weeks will tell us a lot about the direction this franchise is headed, and I, for one, can't wait to see what happens next. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this trade will happen? Are you excited about Zacha potentially joining the team? Or do you think Montreal should focus on other areas first? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. Remember, this is your channel, your community, and we're here to share the passion for hockey. So keep those comments coming, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be back soon with even more updates, analysis, and inside info on everything Canadiens. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see how this story unfolds. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, go Canadiens.